Good day, mates. Welcome back to the garden. Thanks for stopping by. For those Beverly Hillbillies fans, sit a spell, take your shoes off, stay a while. Some people have been asking for a garden tour, so I'm going to give a little garden, but we've been having temperatures down in the low 40s for a couple of weeks now, so there's not a whole lot to look at in way of flowers and stuff. But I'll do a little quick mini garden tour real quick because I still got a lot to do, as you'll see in this tour. And I've already started, as I can show you right here, I've started some fall cleanup already. But we'll start over here on the north side of the house where I transplanted these limelight hydrangeas. And you can see that they're still putting on new blooms. And then right here, some new flower buds. So it took them a while. They didn't look good at first, but they've started adjusting. You also see that it looks like I've got some iron deficiency going here a little bit in this one. So I've already put some iron tone on it. But you can also see that next spring, this is the way this has been this year. I've just been behind on all of my chores and all of my stuff. I usually prune these in the spring. Way back, I'll show you one here that because of when I transplanted them didn't look too good and they got pruned pretty good. I'll show you what they look like when you first do that. But so you can see all those little thin things there will be cut off next. So next spring, when these first break dormancy, I'll prune them. And I'll probably prune them to about like that. And make it as small, and then it gets thicker and bushier and more blooms. It's really Proven Winners recommends that you prune them pretty hard in the spring because you'll get more blooms for one thing. All right, so we'll start over here. See, I've been spreading some of my compost here, but I'll also talk about a couple of things that I've learned this year. One being these hardy hibiscus. Let me recommend that if you want to transplant them, move them from one location to another, or divide them or stuff, that you do that in the spring just as they're breaking dormancy. Because as with the hydrangeas, and I did it in the middle of the summer, made them look rough for a while. These hardy hibiscus in the heat of the summer, and you can see all of their leaves just flowers and everything. So if you don't want to look at this for the rest of the year, let me recommend that you do that in the spring. So that's one thing I learned. I'll have to put that in my log. You can see this Brandywine viburnum is turning colors. I also transplanted this from another location, brought it over here, and you can see I pruned a lot of it off. So we'll see what that looks like in next spring. You can see I need to do some weeding under it. But here's the one, the hydrangea, limelight hydrangea, that I had to prune back big time. So see how much thicker and bushier it is. Now, because I did this so late, I don't know that there's going to be any flower buds on it. Since this was done late in the year, this was done at the same time that I transplanted them all. There's another one, the hardy hibiscus. They just, yeah, you just don't want to do that. And right underneath here, and right here, sorry, I didn't want to move you too fast. I've got some fritillary crown imperial bulbs under there. Hopefully they'll come up. Here's another one of the limelight hydrangea. You see, it's got new flowers while the other ones are turning pink. So they're still growing. Another hardy hibiscus, doesn't look good. You can see here I've done some lifting some of my dahlias. There's the aftermath of that. So I'm not going to lift. I'm going to leave the dahlias that I'm keeping, I'm going to leave them in the ground over the winter. I did it last year. 6 of the 9 came back, so I'll try it again this year, see what happens. I lifted these because a neighbor, I'm sharing them with a neighbor. So I lifted these and gave her the tubers. Here's a butterfly bush that had been transplanted, Puckster Blue. You can see it's growing. It was just a little twig. Here's a Kismet Red coneflower that was planted earlier in the summer, and a couple of new red buds on it. You can also see where the little goldfinches have been plucking the seeds off of it. When I came out here to do this video, they were all out here. I scared them all off. They're all mad at me now. I can hear them squawking in the trees. That's columbine. It's a red and white one. It's early summer or early spring or early bird, I think is what it's called. There was 3 of them. I moved one. They're not looking so good over here, so I think I'm going to be winding up moving these also. We'll see. Please ignore, I haven't got this section of this bed weeded yet. It's been with all this rain. I started to do this video about 30 minutes ago. It started raining as soon as I got out here. So I'm trying to catch you in between little showers to get a video done real quick. Here's a summer song, Firefinch, coneflower I planted this summer. You can see all the seed heads that the little birds have been plucking. Here is that Cheyenne Spirit that we just planted in the last video. And looks like something is nibbling on the Baptisia there that we planted this summer. I've got some critter, and it's not deer because you don't see any deer tracks. I think it's either rabbit or groundhog. So I've got to deal with that. And I've decided that part of the reason I'm having issues with it this year is because another side effect of all the rain. It keeps washing off all of the deer and critter repellent stuff that I spray. It just keeps it washed off. I can't get anything to stay there. You can see it. That's Niagara Falls switchgrass right there. Whatever it is, it's nibbled over here, nibbling there. It's pretty much ate that down to the ground already. This bed will be getting full. As you can see over there, I'll get over closer. You can see this black adder is ready to be cut down to the ground for the fall, for the winter. It's kind of, if I could leave, if I left all this is all seeds. Yeah, so maybe I can give a black adder seed giveaway before I cut it down, throw it away. All right, let's see, what else? There's all the irises that my neighbor gave me. And by the way, they gave me these irises last year and I forgot about it. And I found them in my car this summer, and found them in the garage, wherever I found them. And they were dry and decimated and desiccated. I mean, I really thought I probably had killed them all. But I went ahead and put them in the ground. Every one of them has come up. So that's good. Here's one of the hydrangea phantom standards. On this, I'm going to be moving this one. I moved her sister that was right over there already. There's a little bird right here right now. He's just ignoring me. He's going ahead and eating seeds. See if I can show. There's 2 in there. See them? One just flew right under my elbow. Hear them talking? I don't know if you can hear them. Right there. See them? Little goldfinches. They're like, would you get out of here and leave us alone? Here's a Forever Goldie viburnum with its sister over there. They're looking good. These were in the original video that I did. You can see how much they've grown already. Don't know that I'll be leaving them here. I'll probably be moving them at some point. There's something else I'll show you. Yeah, these little birdies, they just said, all right, we'll just get out here with you. So here's the 5 dressed up evening gowns that we planted in the last video. Here you can see a dahlia still blooming. The dahlias pretty much, they bloom until frost. There's one there, till the frost kills them. And I've got to come up with a more attractive way. Sorry for this garbage truck coming down the road. If hopefully you didn't hear it make too much noise. But I've got to find a more attractive way to stake, other than these tomato stakes, than to a more attractive way to stake my dahlias. And I don't do them in rows where I'm growing. I've got a dahlia plant stuck around in the garden. So I need some kind of individual way to stake them that's more attractive than this. Because people, we're right here on the sidewalk, really prefers some more attractive way to. And if anybody has any suggestions, would you please leave that in the comments below. Here's a lemon meringue baptisia. This is its second full season there. And you can see how big she is. She likes it. Here's all of the Tres Amigo coneflowers that we planted, along with some dandelions. I got to get in here and clean up again. I've weeded this bed, I don't know how many times. So, and you can see here where the little birds, little goldfinches, they love these cone heads, or these seeds from these coneflowers. So typically I leave those up, but I've been having a few giveaways. And speaking of a giveaway, just had a giveaway. It was a good success. We're going to have another giveaway when we reach 125 subscribers. The last giveaway I gave Sombrero Lemon Yellow. This one will be Sombrero Sangrita. Now, all of them have gone to, the seeds. There's no flowers on them to show you, but they're a vibrant red. So leave a comment. We'll do it the same way as we did the last time. And those of you who've left a comment to the last one, I'll go ahead and include you in this one if you want to be. And then we'll start from here again and do the same thing. There's the Cheyenne Sky Switchgrass Prairie Winds series by Proven Winners. You can see that it turns purple. Some of it turns purple. This is a perennial and little seed heads. I'm liking that. Probably gonna have to move it because it's right there on top of these coneflowers. Here's the Flutter pincushion. Need to deadhead a bunch out of it that we planted this summer. Here's the Sweet Romance lavender in its second bloom. And I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, see that bumblebee there? There's still bee activity, even though we've been getting down in the low 40s. Miss Molly's still got some blooms on her. In fact, there was a monarch butterfly out here yesterday on Miss Molly. Here's a Jack of Diamonds. I think it's what it's called, Brunia, under there, underneath this Temple of Bloom, which is in its red calyxes now, looking like it's blooming again from white now to red. You can also see that the leaves are really, that 40-degree temperature at night is, and it's been that way for like a couple of weeks. So you can see Daisy May there trying to bloom a little bit more. I think I need to move my Daisy Mays. I don't think they're in this prime location for them. Here is the one standard Hydrangeas Phantom standard that I moved, and it kept blowing over, so I cut all of the went ahead and cut all the canopy off of it to get rid of the top heaviness. And like I said, there wasn't really a whole lot to show you guys because it's getting, but I've made this into a 15-minute video already, so I guess it's time to go. Here is the Cheyenne Spirit that's all gold, and it's still blooming and going strong. You can see there's a new one right there. That's a new bloom. The rest of them have been there a little while. And then there's one that's, here's another Puxter Blue that's part of the transplant, and you can see it's still blooming. That's a Fiesta Orange, coneflower, Sombrero Fiesta Orange. You can see all the little cones on it before they turn black are kind of orange, kind of neat looking. There's that. This is another thing I learned this summer. If you have Baptisia that you want to move, I would recommend, as with the hardy hibiscus, I would recommend you do the transplant Baptisia. This is a lesson I learned. I put it in my log, so that's what I'll remember. Transplant Baptisia in the spring as they're breaking ground. Ideally with Baptisia, you want to get them in, when you originally plant them, you want to get them in the spot that you know that's where you're going to leave them forever, because they have a long taproot. They do not like to be moved. But this one's still green and it's still alive. Didn't look good. It's not looking real good right now, but we'll, it's still living. So next spring, hopefully, long boy, there's a big old dandelion right there. Gotta get rid of. We'll see how they look. Let's see what else. Here's a massive dahlia. Look at the size of this thing. Woo, bigger than my hand. And look at those colors in it. Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. Like I said, the dahlias for me continue to bloom until frost, till the first heavy frost gets. Here's one getting ready to open. Here's got all kinds of buds. There's some buds. I mean, just loaded with buds. Then here's Crazy Love, I think is what this one's called. It's just loaded with buds. You need to deadhead some stuff off of it. Here's a bud. Here's the toad lily. You can look at the toad lily coming up through here. Look at it. So it's like in its spot. Look how big that thing is. At least doubled since we planted it a few months ago. This is where I moved the columbine, and I think I'll move them all over here. This is a beard tongue grown by a local garden nursery called something in Pearls. I can't remember. Looks like I've had a little chewing going on here. That'd be deer. Here's the other toad lily. Look at it growing up through there. It's loving it. Look at those colors. I love these toad lilies. They're not very big, but they're just interesting to look at. All right, so I think, and then there's a couple of more Sweet Romance lavenders by Proven Winners that I just picked up and put in there. I think I showed you that in a video. Yeah, I did do a video on that. Let's see, all of these pots are ready to, everything's looking tired. Time to go. Here's a clematis that I picked up called Duchess of Cornwall by Raymond Evenson. Supposed to be, he's some world-renowned clematis breeder over in the UK, I believe. And this one's called the Duchess of Cornwall. He got permission from the Duchess to name this. I'm going to be putting it here on this obelisk. You can see my silver lining over here that I'm going to move. Look, they're turning green. They're not getting enough sun here to stay yellow, I don't think. So I'm going to be digging these up and moving them. I'll do a video on that. There's another Cheyenne sky that's I don't think it's getting enough sun here either, so I'm going to be moving it. Here's another dahlia. This one's called Ukuki Maroon, I believe. Look at that beautiful color. Here's the dark side of the moon that we just planted. And right there's the wildberry heuchera with it. I gotta get some more of those, I said. And you can see there's lots of space, for, lots of empty holes. So we'll be doing a lot of planting. There's my little turtle that my wife got me for, I think, for my birthday this summer. Sold her. She's got big eyeballs. See if I can show you the eyeballs here. There's these big eyeballs that light up at night. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you're having a good day. Hope this was somewhat enjoyable for you. Like I said, everything's kind of tired, like I am. Not looking real great, and there's not a whole lot, but we're getting there. And leave your comments for the giveaway, the 125 subscribers. Arrivederci.